have a presentation to share with you, which I'll just do quickly now. Okay, so we have the chat window, so feel free to add any chat or comments as we go through, or you're also welcome to go off mute and talk to everyone within the session today. So just bear with me for 1 second and I will bring up the screen sharing. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Jen. Very good. So what we're presenting today is work integrated learning. Now, there's a couple of different parts that we have into our program. So one is for students who are attending universities like Macquarie, who are doing as part of their master's degree, they come in and do our programs. The other side of what we do is where we partner with industry and we bring people in who've already graduated, and either of both the existing university students or the graduated university students, if they have prior learning and work experience, then we can target them for specific programs where we use our external partner companies. And then if they are looking to upskill or get into those roles, we also run the programs that they can do within ITIC. Okay, so ITIC, so as I said, I'm Steve, I'm the director of ITIC. ITIC was actually established in 2001, and its aim is through our programs to build career pathways for IT graduates. We have a training centre, certification IT exam centre, and we do work integrated learning programs. But we've built an ecosystem around our IT businesses in software development, IT consulting, IT help desk, and general IT services, so that people coming through our learning and work integrated learning programs can actually work within the ITIC group of companies as well as with our external partners. So you can see here our head office is based in Sydney CBD. We're located just near Town Hall Station, and we have our training rooms, our work rooms, and obviously our reception to greet you when you come in the door. We also have our Orange office in regional New South Wales. And we run our data science, cybersecurity / network security, IT help desk and software development teams here from ITIC in our Sydney office. Now, obviously with COVID, we do have a work remote policy, so there's not as many people in the office as there used to be, but it's still run and managed from our Sydney office. We're also Australian Computer Society Professional Year Program applicant, soon to be provider, hopefully from next semester, and we're just waiting on final accreditation for that one. Okay, so our work integrated learning programs. Before COVID, we used to do all of them on site. The main outcome for us that we're trying to achieve is to identify the best performers during the programs so that we can hire them into the ITIC businesses or pass those people into our partner companies' businesses. So what we do is we establish the programs through learning initially, where we do sort of online tutorials and training, and then we move into tasks and work-related activities. Now, all of those programs we can do either online or in person, given people are coming back into the office. Obviously, we can do them in person now, but we still have the ability to run them online, which is what we developed during the COVID lockdowns. So benefits of work integrated learning. So as a work integrated learning student or participant, you gain additional work skills and experience. Now, you may have already graduated or about to graduate. This helps you stand out in the crowd. Now, what does that mean? You will have a reference for working with ITIC or our host companies. You will have a certificate of completion. So depending on which program you do, you will, and if you participate in the training component, then obviously you'll get a something that goes within your CV. And then also you'll get the soft skills and help with applying for jobs and CVs and, you know, presenting yourself in the best light to a future employee. Ideally, you'll be targeted through these programs and hired by ITIC or one of our partner companies. From a university perspective, universities love the fact that it increases employability of graduates because that's what they're measured on. So the more the more quickly a student can be employed on completion of a university degree, that impacts the university's rating and weighting within against its peers. And from an industry perspective, and this is the thing that I've been talking to companies about for the last 4 years, is around using this program and these type of programs to create a pipeline for people coming into your business. So from a ITIC perspective, particularly from a software development perspective, we've hired a number of people over the last couple of years through these programs. And the programs are ideal for business because what they allow a business to do is evaluate the fit of that person inside the organisation. You know, have a look at your work ethic, your willingness to learn, how you fit in with the other team members, whether it's a good fit, you know, from a personality perspective. And then if you have the right stuff, it's an easy way to say, hey, you know, after 13 weeks, we'd love you to join our company. And it's easy, and you know what to expect when you start working there full time. And the people who've been working with you during the program, you know, have got to a point where they think enough of you to bring you into the company. Okay, so some of the companies that we're working with from a data science or data perspective across the top, and software. We also have, you know, networks, IT help desk, and cybersecurity companies that we work with also. Some of our recent successes through the work integrated learning program specifically, Hamza came into our software team through the program, and Naveen got a network engineer position, and last semester Rick from Macquarie got a support engineer position at NetStrategy after completing the internship program. Okay, so if you're interested in cyber or network security, we do have an opportunity coming up, which is a 3-month contract, and we're looking for about, well, actually up to 7 people, depending on the timing. But there's at least 3 to 5 positions potentially available, and some of these are in network security. So we'd be looking for people with Palo Alto, Cisco, or Fortinet skills, and they can potentially come in during the internship program, be selected. So we call it a targeted program, so that these are the ones where you submit your CV, you go through a normal interview process, and if you're selected, you come into the internship program. And ideally, if we've selected correctly, at the end of it, then there'll be contracted work available for you to continue on with. Now, what do we need for the targeted? And the line in the middle is the most important. Relevant work experience or technical know-how. So if you've done some security certifications, you know, CCNA security, you've done a NSE certification for Fortinet, or you've done the Palo Alto certification, that will put you in very good stead to be considered for one of the targeted positions. If you've been working in, you know, networking or network security or cyber security, then that would put you in relevant good stead for that position. You know, a lot of the students that are coming through Macquarie, obviously doing the internet working, Masters of Internet Working and Cyber Security. it's the practical sort of prior learning experience that we're looking for specifically. So these are the guys that can be dropped into a role and hit the ground running. If you don't meet that eligibility or criteria, the open program will still allow you to come in and do the internship, but there's a training component associated with that as well. So if you're thinking that you're a good fit for the cyber or network security roles, and that would be specifically around Palo Alto, Fortinet or Cisco, we have an application process which closes on Friday the 19th. Ideally, so we're running this session today, we're running another session with the university, Macquarie University, on the 8th. Between the 8th and the 19th, hopefully we'll have interviewed everyone. But you do have up until the 19th to apply. If you apply on the final day, then the following week from the 22nd will be when you do your interview. If you're deemed to be suitable and successful through the first process. Once that happens, the interviews with the tech lead, who'll be working on the project, who'll ask you questions and validate your knowledge and learning. And then, as I said, we have 3 to 5 internship roles available, but the total team size will be up to 7. Okay, so if you're looking at any targeted positions, so these are the ones where you come in, you do an interview, we pick you, and you go into the work integrated learning program as a targeted intern with the potential for a paid contract role or a full-time role if you're in software at the end. We're running these in 3 areas. So we're running them in network cybersecurity, which is what this program or this session's for, but we're also doing data science. So this would be where you've done Python, you've done SQL, you've done Tableau or Power BI, and you know about machine learning and deep learning. You can come in to apply for one of the data science roles. Software, specifically for software, we're looking at C#.NET, SQL, or Node.js, JavaScript, or MongoDB. Some of those sort of front-end, back-end components, database components. We do have roles in all of those, and particularly in software. If you're not a software developer, but you know someone who's looking for a software development internship who's really good in either Microsoft or MVC or some of the newer, more popular platforms and those sort of things, please get them to apply also, particularly for software, because we're looking to put someone into the software team. So for the open program, so this is where you are doing cyber security, but you're not necessarily ready to go into a fully blown network or cyber security role. Our internship program, we do, well, there's actually 3 projects. So we've got cyber security management, which is cyber security operations management training. We have computer forensics, and we have cybersecurity risk analysis. Now, the way that we deliver that program is through a simulated real-world work environment. Now, this is where you log on to all of the devices, you'll detect and remove threats in both you work both in an offensive and defensive way. Now, as part of that program, obviously, one of the big things is, doing this within ITIC. You get references as well as industry certification under the NICE framework. Now, the open program, it's a guaranteed placement, but there is a prerequisite to do either the cybersecurity operations management, computer forensic, or cybersecurity risk management program. Now, that has a cost for that training component of $1,500 per student. But as I said, if you complete that prerequisite, then you're guaranteed placement into the internship program. Now, the benefits of doing this, obviously the job reference, as we mentioned, the pre-placement training, which leads to the industry certification. So all of the cybersecurity programs that we do are delivered under the NICE framework, and NICE is recognised as the industry reference for cybersecurity education. And then as part of this, we're growing our business in cybersecurity. So if you're, you're not there at the beginning of the program, but you're there at the end of the program, and we identify that as, yourself being ready to go, then we can put you as part of our resource pool for future projects that come through ITIC. So how to apply for the program? We need to send an email to jobs@itic.com.au, and applications close officially on the 21st, which is Sunday, but please get them through by Friday, the 19th of February. And then from there, please state whether you're doing the targeted application or the open one. If it's an open course, then we'll do the enrolment. If it's a targeted one, then your resume, your CV will go in for assessment. And if you're successful to go to the next stage for interviews, we'll get our tech lead to call you and interview you for that role. Okay, so we've got our socials on there. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. And I'll just go back to the chat window, and I'll type in a few key dates for you. But at this stage, does anyone have any questions? So if you have a question, feel free to go off mute, and you can ask your question or type them into the meeting chat. But while you do that, I'll just type a few things. So the application close is the 19th of February. And then we have our next info session on the 8th of Feb. So ideally by the 8th of Feb, you will have decided which pathway you'd like to take and have submitted your applications. Now the start date we're targeting is the 27th of February. So this is in line with Macquarie. If you're a Macquarie University student, this is in line with semester 1, and you would start that program for 13 weeks from the 27th of Feb. Now, as I said, we've got cyber management stream or project. We have computer forensic. And we also have cyber risk management. Now, there's specific programs available for all of those. And what I've done is I've actually, if you're from Macquarie, I've submitted the project descriptions for cyber management, computer forensic, and cyber risk management onto the GitHub. So you'll be able to see the details of those projects there. Okay, so what I'd ask at this stage, is there any questions or any queries that anyone has for me or for the team, Jennifer and Rachel? Okay, so if you do have questions, please put them in the meeting chat. I'll just go on to say that, as I said, just to reiterate, so the next steps from here, if you'd like to apply for one of the targeted positions, please send your CV to jobs@itic.com.au. jobs@itic.com.au. So if you're doing the targeted position or you're doing the open position, please apply there. If it's a targeted position, then, as I said, you'll be and you're deemed to be suitable, then you'll be getting an interview before the 19th. I can see Ali's just asked, what are the chances of getting a job after the internship? So with the network security, we have a project that we're working on where we're doing a network security refresh for a large enterprise. There's 80 sites starting from, so the first, at the moment we're doing the pilot phase. So we're finishing up the testing and the process procedure documentation. And then from there, from the beginning of April, May, June, we'll be doing the rollout of the network security update for this particular customer. And then moving off HP onto Palo Alto. They do have some Cisco ASAs as well. That's a network security project. For the cyber security side of it, we are doing our so cybersec defense. That will be the company that is potentially looking for, pen testers and sort of contractors to do those. Now, the full-time, so when we're talking about the roles at the end, most of them, unless it's a software development position, we're looking for a full-time software developer. For the other programs, we're looking for people who would potentially be, short-term contractors. So we're talking about a 3 or a 6 month contract at the end, and that would be, depending on your level, but likely an entry level position. So Jose has said, you mentioned the cost is $1,500. So yes, if you're doing the open program, so if you don't meet the criteria for the targeted position, and the targeted position, keep in mind, is people who have prior working experience that meet the criteria for a targeted role, then we open up to those people the opportunity to do the internship anyway. So this method means that you contribute for the training component, which is $1,500, and then you get the work experience through our programs. And the idea is that at the end of that, if you meet, you might be lacking at the beginning when you come into that program, but ideally at the end of it, in a position after doing the work integrated learning with us, to be potentially targeted after that for one of our contract roles. So what we're doing is opening it up for everyone. If you're targeted, then all of the training that we do as part of this is included, because we know that you've been selected to do a contract role at the end, and then obviously at the end you'll get paid as our contractor. So therefore we're training you so that you can move into that role at the end, because we've deemed that you're ready to go. If you're not ready to go to do one of those positions, then you can still participate, but then the training is an elective for you to do, and by doing the training, then you automatically then become eligible for the internship program. Hopefully that makes sense. Emil, do you have a question? Okay, so any more questions from anyone?
We have someone typing on in the chat right now, so maybe just wait for a few seconds.
Okay.
Oh yeah, hi. So I just wanted to check with you on this internship program. So hello.
Yeah, hello. I can hear you.
Oh yeah, sure. So I just wanted to check on the internship program if I got it right. So we'll go ahead and submit our applications. The CVs, and then if it is selected, someone will revert to us, and then we have to pay the amount, and we'll be.
If you're selected, you don't pay the amount. If you're targeted, that means we're going to prepare you for the project at the end. So you'll come through. So there's two pathways. One is where you're selected and there's no cost. We will train you in readiness for the project that we have coming up. But that would be if you have some network security certifications such as I said, Palo Alto, Cisco, or Fortinet are the key ones that we're after. If you don't have any of those and you want to participate in the program, then you can pay the money to do the training and then participate in the program. But there's no guarantee of depends on how you do in the program. If you don't have the prior learning or experience, if you get to a point where you're ready to go, then we can put you into a contracting role at the end.
Right, got it. Thanks.
Is there any possibility for an extension in the contract? I just saw Ronnie's asked. So the project that we have at the end is 3 months, and we expect that will be. The project may last longer, but there's only a set, a fixed number of sites. So unless it's a different project for another customer, then that particular project will be the end of the contract. Now, ideally, with contractors, when we finish a project, we'll get another one and we'll go from there. Now, if we build enough pipeline to establish a full-time role, then that the best performing contractors then move into the full-time business. Okay, so if during the internship someone wants to move to another state, will you help find internship over there? Okay, so if you move to another state, as I said at the beginning, our programs are ideally run in person, but we can still do them online. So if you're working on the program in Sydney and you move to Melbourne, you could still continue attending. You'd just be attending through Microsoft Teams and logging on to our LMS for the academic side, for the course, the training side. I didn't answer this one before. So how long is the training open program for? So the whole program is 13 weeks. The first 4 to 5 weeks, and it depends on which course you do, whether it's instructor-led or self-paced. But basically, the first part of it is training, which usually lasts between 4 and 5 weeks, and the following 8 or 9 weeks are where we do one of those 3 projects around cybersecurity management, computer forensics, or cybersecurity risk management. Rohini's asking, is this a paid or unpaid internship? It's an unpaid internship. So if you are in the targeted group, then at the end of the internship period, once you've done your full training and job readiness program, then if you move into a contracted role where you're contributing to the company and delivering an outcome for our customers, then you move into a paid contracting role. But the program itself is work integrated learning, so it's work that allows you to grow during that work period, as opposed to taking on a contracting role that you're not necessarily, well, number one, you might not be able to get it in the first place, and number two, if you do get it, you might not be qualified or experienced enough to be able to deliver. So the learning component is unpaid. If you're doing a role where you have an outcome that is delivering a customer contracted work, then you get paid. Okay, how long would you determine if you're not the targeted prospect? So the timeline is, we have our information session. Obviously, we did one last week. This week, we're doing another one on the 8th. Between the 8th and the 19th, this is when the tech leads will determine who they would like to interview. If you're targeted, then you'll know within that period that you'll get an interview. And then if you pass the interview, then you'll move to the targeted program. Targeted program and the open program are basically the same. So the targeted program will have some additional training that's relating specifically to the project, so that you're ready to do the project at the end of the period. So by the time we get to early March, that will be when the project starts, and therefore before the contract would start. It'll be March, April, and April, May, June, 3 months. Okay, so I think we've done a lot of questions, which is great. So I really appreciate all of the questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to stay on the Teams meeting and keep typing. If not, I'd say thank you very much for attending. Feel free to do the next one on the 8th as well, if you'd like more information. If you're applying for the targeted program, send the email to jobs@itic.com.au with the CV. If you're applying for the open program, still send an email, but we'll look after you and enrol you into that open program as well. But thanks everyone. Really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll talk to you and see you again very soon.